Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Football, especially Saturday morning, is so important because it's the escape from reality. It's the pure joy of just playing. And you can't get that anywhere else. There's stepping across that line, and cares and worries go away, and laughs and heavy breathing begin.
50 years. Quite the accomplishment. Thanks to Al Collins. Al Collins, the creator of the Saturday Morning Football League. Originally, it was tackle with an offensive and defensive line. As time went on, and as people got hurt, got older, made it touch football. People got to work on Monday. Some of us have families to support, can't afford to get hurt. Doesn't mean people haven't got hurt. There have been broken legs, arms, fingers, and an occasional concussion.
You know, John Moore and Papa, were you there that week?
I was there. That happened. Yeah.
When John had a concussion, I know he did.
Papa,
he was out.
Papa thought his eyeball popped out.
Yeah.
Remember they were screaming?
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah. Taylor broke his leg years ago. But the worst one I ever saw was a dislocated elbow. A guy named Rick used to come out. He was Al's friend. He hasn't been there for years and years, but kind of a tall, skinny, gangly guy. And he was very skinny, and he just put his arm out to like stop somebody, and his arm like bent backwards, and his elbow was dislocated. We had to call the ambulance. Came right on the field and everything. He was just sitting there with his elbow pointing at a very weird
direction. Yeah.
Made you sick to look at it. You know, of course, broken fingers and sprained ankles, but yeah, I'd say I've seen a couple of concussions or guys knocked out, which means they're probably concussed, right? Yeah. John said he wasn't concussed, I think, but I know he had to have been.
John's permanently
Every time he comes out, he's like, get out here. Can I do it here?
Because I remember I stood over him and looked down at him, and his eyes were rolled back in his head.
Yeah.
You could see the whites of his eyes, and his arm was like this.
Oh, he's like Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
He's like ordering a drink.
Oh, two of those.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
Al got hurt by this guy, Mike. I called Mike up and said, "You're done." And specifically, at that time, you could rush the passer on a count and stuff, but you weren't allowed to tag above the waist. And he jumped up, came down on Al just as he was throwing him, and tore everything. So Al was out for a year and a half, 2 years.
So why play? It's the competition, showing off our athleticism, socializing, but deep down inside, it's to stay young and to keep the dream alive.
When I started playing, I was like, wow, these guys are really, really hardcore. One guy, Mike Ropo, was always in a fight with somebody, always arguing, and we weeded all those guys out over time and knocked it back a bit.
Yeah.
And part of that was Al and Phil getting older and trying to preserve the game so they could still play while they were older. We're out here having fun. It's just the pure joy of being on a field and playing with one of these. I think the overall camaraderie has really changed, at least for me. So when I started playing, I really sort of left it on the field. I didn't want to know anybody off the field. When it dawned on me how important playing ball was, even though it's just a kid's game, then it changed my mind and I began to get involved in people's lives. Go places and meet them and help them out or whatever. So it became a social thing too. And then we had that first big party for the 40th.
Yeah, at the office.
And that just opened the doors up.
Yeah, it did.
It changed the whole flavor of the game.
I think all the different components, the diversity, the fun, the camaraderie, you're meeting people from all different walks of life. I mean, it's just like the circle of guys that you meet when you're in school. It's different. You're learning new stuff from each other, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. It's well said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would give that aspect up
No.
just because I'm a little bit slower or fatter.
Fatter. Yeah,
Well, I've definitely-
fatter.
I'm way slower and way fatter than I used to be, but I can't imagine not playing. I mean, it's going to happen, and maybe soon, but I don't want to quit. You know, that means too much to me.
That football IQ's up there, though.
Well, it comes a point where even that doesn't help.
Doesn't make your feet move.
Right, when you're a total slug. Yeah.
Guys from all over drive in to play. From the city, the boondies, to the burbs. We all meet up and play. Trying to stay young. It's really a mindset to think about it. If you act and pretend like you're young, hell, you might just stay young. From September to Super Bowl weekend in February, every Saturday we play. Rain, snow, shine, freeze, doesn't matter. We play.
About 30 years ago, we had a big snow and ice storm, and then we had a melt. So we showed up, and it was like there was water on the field 6 to 8 inches deep everywhere because the ground was frozen still, but the ice had melted, you know, so it was just sitting on top of the ground. We've played in probably close to 100-degree heat index, probably several times in, you know, late August, early September. We played in rainstorms, blizzards, you know, 5 below zero, but that one was the worst. It was like jumping into an ice. Every time you fell, you know, it was like jumping into an ice tub. Yeah, it was terrible.
Playing QB isn't as easy as it looks. You gotta be able to scan the field, or you'll miss an opportunity. The moment you take that ball off that tee, the clock's ticking. You need to command the huddle, call the play quickly.
It's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good. It's quite pungent. Oh, yeah. It stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you, that smells like pure gasoline.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Because of the organization, how organized it is, playing quarterback is tough.
Yeah.
It is tough.
It's
It
tough
is
for any
tough.
guys just running around, you know.
Yeah. I tried it the year I got hurt. You know, I couldn't play that year, and next year I came back. I still couldn't really run, so I played quarterback, and I hated it. I think I threw more picks than I threw touchdowns, and I just said, I got to get back running. That made me want to get back and be able to run again. Yeah, I didn't want to play quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it either.
It's not easy.
Sometimes the quarterbacks miss the receivers. There are some who try, have limited success, and there are others who love playing 8-on-8 and throwing against 8 defenders. It's a blur. It's chaotic. But when your team is down and you're driving down the field and you need a touchdown to win, there's nothing more exhilarating to take your team, march them down that field, and throw that touchdown.
I do remember one highlight though, playing with this guy. 2 weeks in a row, one of them, I shouldn't say this, was against you. You were on like the 10-yard line quarterback, and you tried to throw over my head, and I picked it. I just handed it off to him, and he went all the way. 2 weeks in a row that happened. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
I think you were the quarterback for one of them. Sorry, Raj.
I don't know if I was. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Oh, man.
I said, there's no way I'm running 100 yards. Here, you take it. He took off.
Go nuts.
It's important to pick the right ref. Someone with integrity, smarts, who can speak concisely. The one who's going to be paying attention to every down and make the right call. Because every now and then there's a missed call. Like, for example, maybe a missed tag is called a tag, and a touchdown is taken away. This was a missed tag, and the touchdown was called back. Can't be perfect out there. Pick your refs early in the game, and the refs got to be paying attention. We are quite the eclectic group of men pretending to be boys playing football again.
On the outside here. My tornadoes is. On this side, the outside is straight.
We are all winners to be in our camp.
You make that
Because that's why we should
make more.
because we all are good enough, damn it, and I'm worth it. People like you.
Funny how the longer you do this, the more it kind of means to you, and the more you more you don't want to let go of it, because it's another sign. Everything ends, right? But you want to hold on to something like this for as long as you can.
Saturday morning football, it really is. It's a social aspect to our lives that isn't fulfilled anywhere else. And I never really understood that. I just knew, God, I love playing football. But when you sit back and really look at what it's become, at least for me, and I think for a handful of other guys, and I hope guys that come in as well, that stick, is it's a time period in your life that's a shift. right? It's a time when you get rid of the cell phone, you get rid of the worries about the home, the job, the taxes, the car, the dishwasher that doesn't work, whatever. Because all you can focus on is this thing about to hit you in the face. Running the correct route.